he has suckled that motorcycle since it was young.
It's exactly the sound I made when he said that.
Hey,
Maniacs.
Midsomer Maniacs.
Midsomer Maniacs is a recap podcast dedicated to the ITV series Midsomer Murders. Every week, we dig into an episode of the show, including the murders, the mayhem, the loonies, and everything else we love.
Welcome to episode 55 of Midsomer Maniacs.
The Axeman Cometh.
Season 10, episode 4. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mark.
In case you didn't know.
Just a little warning, if your kids drink and party too much, they probably can't handle the podcast.
Try to keep the generations separate, Mark.
Yes. If your kids can watch the show, they can, of course, listen to the podcast. This is a pretty tame episode.
Yeah, I think so. We got any news for the week before we get started?
Just wanted to shout out to a couple of new Twitter followers who are way smarter than us. Simoi Achira. Wow, I probably butchered her name.
Sorry.
She is a parasitologist. And then another word, and I don't even know how to even pronounce that. But she went to Tufts and Iowa State.
Wow.
She's big brain on her.
If you're a parasitologist, you're a fancy scientist.
Yes.
Like that's a hardcore PhD, unlike my very fluffy one.
Yes. She said, today's a good day. I discovered the podcast at Midsomer Maniacs on Spotify. I'm a huge fan of this murder mystery series. And she posted that and some comments, and then all of her scientific friends joined in.
Welcome, scientists.
Yes.
You can still be maniacs even though you're scientists.
Thanks for the follows.
Hey,
it's always nice to be noticed.
We've broken into
super smart people.
Another little subculture. Scientists who like Midsomer.
Yes.
Hey. Welcome. And right before we dive in, just a reminder that we're still taking ideas for t-shirt designs. So if there's anything midsummery that you'd love to have on a t-shirt, send it along. I've got lots of good ideas so far, but I would welcome more. And sometime October, November, we'll start to share some potential designs and see what people like so that we can maybe have them out for the holiday.
Maybe that's the plan.
You can have a Midsomer Maniac stocking stuffer.
Wow. The Axeman Cometh, filmed August and September of 2006, which is prime festival time. It's broadcast on the 2nd of February 2007. 6.87 million views. Directed by Rennie Rye, who's directed a bunch of episodes. And Michael Atkins wrote it. We're back in Badger's Drift.
Yeah, but we're at Twinwood Arena, which conveniently we've never heard about.
We are indeed.
Which I guess it's just kind of like an outdoor concert stage on the grounds of some big church.
Yeah.
But not the Badger's Drift Church.
It's not the Badger's Drift Church. Because if it is, that guy took over the parish and wow.
Yeah, he really changed it up.
Yeah.
When we run into the clergyman at the festival, is he a priest? Maybe it's a Catholic church in Badger's Drift. Maybe that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's it. They have also a giant cathedral with acres and acres of land, perhaps.
All the rockers are heading to Badger's Drift.
Yes. We have the rock and roll montage.
Yes.
They're bad drivers. They're drink drivers. They're litter bugs. They're rude.
And they're on the way to Badger's Drift for the Midsomer Rocks Music Festival. Which is August 18th, 19th, and 20th from 1 to 11 p.m. They cut it off right at 11 p.m. And
we get to see Tom be so happy.
Yeah.
Because he loves music and he loves blues and rock and roll. And he's like a little giddy boy in this episode.
He is.
Until that pub scene, which made me cringe, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. Other people on the bill include Roger Chapman, which is a real rock and roller guy. The Short List, Dan Weil, the Copycats, and Hired Gun.
Hired Gun is our band.
Our rockers.
The Axeman.
And It's made up of the Axeman, who is Jack McKinley.
On guitar.
Mimi Clifton, who is the singer. Mm-hmm. Gary Cooper, not that Gary Cooper.
No.
Playing bass.
Yep.
And
Nikki Harding on drums.
Nikki Harding on drums.
Does Jeannie do anything in the band, or is she just his wife?
Jeannie's just his wife.
Okay. I did notice some fun things on those signs. In addition to all those names, there's when Joyce and Tom and Cully are all sitting on the bench eating their ice cream. There's a poster, a promotional poster, kind of behind them that announces that there will be 2 guest MCs.
Oh,
Ickle Snug and Max Thief. And I needed to know who Ickle Snug and Max Thief were.
And who are
Turns out Max Thief is nobody important.
Okay.
I guess, anyway, who they're referring to is not a real person. There actually is a musician now named Max Thief, but he hadn't even probably graduated from middle school by the time this was filmed.
okay.
But Ickle Snug, I'm saying Ickle, I-C-L-E, is not an MC as far as I can tell.
Yes.
But Ickle Snug does live in the UK.
Okay.
And is a prolific Amazon reviewer.
Oh.
Ickle has been unhappy about the glittery ballet shoes that he or she bought. The aquarium landscaping book that was the worst aquarium landscaping book he or she had ever seen.
Okay.
One
This
of
is
5
hilarious,
stars.
and I want you to continue, but you're never going to be able to get me back on track when you say I'm off track again.
And a man cave rules sign that he or she thought was just subpar. However, the face painting book that Ickle Snug bought on Amazon, 5 out of 5 stars, would have given it 6.
Wow. So there is some positivity there.
I can't criticize Ickle Snug very much for the diversity of his or her Amazon purchases, considering I got a box from Amazon the other day that had 2 boxes of cocoa wheats and some eye screws in it. Because that's what I needed to buy.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to mention these 2 since they're not real people. And then I saw those reviews and I'm like, wow, this is an interesting person who has glittery ballet shoes and aquarium and does face painting. Okay.
Okay.
I'm eclectic. I understand.
Other acts at the party include Gino Washington and the Ram Jam Band, Joe Simpson, Patrick Blues Burgess, Sly Ronnie, and many more. Under 13s are free.
And a few of the people who are mentioned in the credits as roadies or stage technicians actually are roadies and stage technicians, which was smart of them to use actual people to do the actual work to set up the actual stage and then give them credit for doing it.
Though, at least one roadie had to go, guitar pedals don't work like that.
No. Well, and the one roadie who comes up to the mic, he could have said, testing, pop, 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 you know. No, he says, Keith, get out of that tree. Keith, get out of that tree. That's not even a lazy fox jumps over the sleeping dog or whatever sentence. I don't know why he would say, Keith, get out of the tree.
No.
But from now on, anytime I have to test a mic, Keith, get out of that tree.
All of this takes place in the real world at 2 Church Street in Chesham.
Ah.
Which is where the Blues Haze Arts Center is.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you read in the magazine that they tried to film this at an existing musical festival.
Yes, at Reading.
Couldn't
which
get that arranged.
Ginormous music festival.
So they had to put on their own mini music festival, which I think is fun that they got to do that.
I think they had a great time.
I think it's great.
And then they can control everything.
Right.
And they don't have to do weird backstagey things. Like they can have Simon assault Cully right out in the open.
We will get to Simon. We definitely need to talk about Simon. However.
So also, I'd like to say, so Hired Gun is clearly particularly with its reference to Ginger Foxton, who is the member that died. There's some clear Cream references here.
Well, and there's a lot of Eric Clapton references throughout the whole episode.
Right after that, they talk about Eric Clapton. And so this is the sort of white boy blues 60s thing that happened in England.
Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
But I was just happy because James Cosmo is in this episode, and I just love him. He plays the Axeman.
He is fantastic.
He's one of my favorite actors.
He's so good.
Did you know he lost all of his front teeth when he was 12 and had to wear a denture from the age of 12?
No.
And then gradually lost more and more of his teeth after that, because once you lose such significant teeth, the rest of your teeth kind of give up.
Well, you know why I know all about that.
I know. Not because of you, but because of your mom. I don't want people to think you lost all your teeth and you're sitting here.
My mother lost her front teeth in a tragic roller skating accident at 16.
But he lost his at 12. And I am just so impressed with somebody who would have something like that happen at such a young age and still say, I can be an actor. It's all right. But I did see a lot of stories where he's very candid about his teeth, where he said that by the time he had a full set of dentures, his acting career really had taken off, and he played all these big like battle scene roles, where he's like, the big guy, and he was constantly afraid that his dentures would fall out while he was shouting. Because they didn't stay in very well.
Nice.
But now there's this YouTube video from 2011 of him getting dental implants. So now he's got a full set of implants instead of dentures. And you can follow along in his procedure while he gets his implants.
That's a little too much for me.
But he's such a good sport.
He is. He's a good sport.
He was on Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh, that's cool.
And you imagine him on Celebrity Big Brother?
Well, come over here.
Yeah. He's like big happy grandpa guy on Celebrity Big Brother.
Him and Brian Blessed need to do a buddy movie.
Yeah.
Where they travel around the United States.
In a small car. A little, like a smart car. Just the two of them poured into a smart car. Not a buddy movie.
Channel 4. Here we go. We're pitching this to you.
Listen.
Brian Blessed and
James Cosmo
in a Mini going across the United States. I will pay money to see that show.
I would pay money to see them drive across a parking lot together in a car.
just the tilting of the car as they go.
And get out, like when they step out and the car lifts off the ground with them, and then they have to take it off of them and set it down. He's only 6'2", but he looks ginormous.
He does. What do you think of the wig here?
I think it's great.
Yeah, it a couple of times I was like, that may be his real hair. But then I'm like, no.
No, it's super well done.
It's a super well done wig.
Yeah. Compared to the Butler's hairpiece, it's awesome.
Wow. Yeah.
We'll get there. All right. So we've got the band. We've got Gary Cooper, who is Lord of the Manor now, but is obviously a broken man, suffering from anxiety and asthma and everything else, but trying to become something that he was not born to be.
Yep.
And surrounding himself with people he thinks will help him become somebody fancy.
Because Gary did the right thing. He took the money they made in the 60s and 70s and invested it.
Kinda he did the right thing. Yeah, sort of. I mean, we find out that he and Ginger agreed to put their earnings in a shared trust.
And then he took it all.
Because Ginger died.
Yes.
So he could. And did what he wanted. Gary is played by Phil Davis.
Yes.
Again, who is one of those character actors who doesn't get nearly as much credit as he should get.
So Phil Davis was in not only Quadrophenia, he was also in The Wall.
Pink Floyd's The Wall.
This is two of the most important British rock and roll movies.
Yeah, but he was great in Whitechapel.
Yep.
He's in the first episodes of Sherlock.
Yes,
and he's
he is.
Fantastic.
He is so good in Sherlock.
And he's one of only 3 actors who are in Midsomer and also in This Is Jinsey.
Wow. If you have not seen This Is Jinsey, it is worth trying to find.
The Mystery Pond. Oh, they're all on YouTube.
They're all on YouTube.
Nightly Bye. I love This Is Jinsey.
This Is Jinsey.
If you watch it and you don't love it, that's okay. It's an acquired taste. But if you do like it, you're really going to like it.
It's a fever dream of British actors.
It's awesome, though. Everybody's in it.
Yeah.
Including Phil Davis. So.
Dave Tennant.
Oh, yes. So he's the bass player. So let's just get it out of the way.
Okay.
You are a musician.
Yes.
And I know every time we see somebody on screen with a guitar in their hand, you're looking at their fingers to decide whether they're really playing or not.
Okay.
What is your judgment here?
We'll get this out of the way.
Yep.
There are 3 types of people who play musical instruments on shows. There are the people who have no idea what they're doing.
They're just holding a guitar and putting their fingers on it.
Yep. There are the people who have held a guitar or a piano or something like that before. Now, they're not maybe at the level of what's being played through the audio, but they've done it before.
They know how the instrument works, and
Yes.
maybe they can play scales or something.
And then you have people who actually play the instrument.
Yeah.
Right?
So what do we have here?
So an example of the last one is like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future is actually playing most of the notes that you hear on the soundtrack.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. He's not actually,
He's not as good as they make him appear to be, but he definitely knows what he's doing.
He definitely knows what he's doing. Okay. These 2 guys are clearly in the middle. They have held guitars before, as has Barnaby. They're comfortable holding guitars.
And when you say these 2 guys, you're talking about Gary Cooper, who plays bass in the band, and Axeman, who plays guitar.
Yep.
And Tom Barnaby.
They're all comfortable with the instrument, but none of them are playing.
Okay. Do you think Nikki's playing drums?
Nikki has no idea what the freak he's doing. I can safely say Nikki has sat behind a set of drums.
He can sit on a chair.
Yep.
But he's not a drummer.
No.
Okay. However, Mimi Clifton, played by Susie Quattro, is in fact a singer.
Yes. We've come to a disagreement about this because I love Susie Quattro. Absolutely.
You like her music? You like her as a person? What?
Okay. So she is and will always be Leather Tuscadero to me.
Okay.
Which is a character on the 70s sitcom Happy Days, which was set in the 50s, where she plays a really progressive character for the time. A leather-clad woman biker who stands up to the sexism of the time.
Isn't she just female Fonzie?
Kind of female Fonzie.
Okay.
And certainly as a young boy perked my interest of, that's an interesting type of woman.
Hey, lady in leather pants.
Yes. Prepared me for the tsunami that was Joan Jett when she arrived, right? Like, and that's what Leather Tuscadero is she's preparing you for Joan Jett. Joan Jett is the natural progression of that, where Joan Jett is also like a really good songwriter and a really good guitar player.
Yes.
So it's nice to see her here. She hasn't aged the best, but none of us have. But
that's all right.
But
I don't hold that against her.
I think she has fun eating up the scenery in this show. When she opens up the door and pukes and looks at the family.
What?
I think it's hilarious.
And she's American.
Yes.
Susie Quattro is American, but so is Mimi Clifton.
Yeah, and she's lived in the UK for a long time.
Right.
She got really popular in the early 80s in the UK.
And I don't have any prior experience with Susie Quattro, so my evaluation is completely based on this character, and I don't like this character. So
you don't like the person she is, or you don't like how this character is realized?
Both.
Okay, because I don't think you're supposed to like this character.
No. I mean, she's rude. She's an alcoholic. She endangers other people. She's mean.
She contributed to the weirdness that is Willow's mother.
Yes.
We haven't even talked about Willow, where if you're watching this episode for the first time, it's really easy until about halfway through the episode for you to go, oh, that's not the Axeman's girlfriend. That's his daughter. Oh.
I don't remember ever thinking that it wasn't his daughter, because it's just the way he treats her.
No, until it's easily halfway through the episode till you get confirmation.
Maybe, but I always assumed that she was his daughter. I never thought she was anything else.
No.
I did think that Gary Cooper's butler and his PA/housekeeper were a couple.
Yeah.
Until you find out that they're uncle and niece.
Not to spoil anything, but that's not how you lie on your uncle's bed.
No, there's so much wrong with them. We'll get there too.
Oh, there's so many characters in this episode. I don't know how they end up at the end of this show without all the scenery being eaten. Like, everybody eats scenery in this show.
One thing I don't understand about this band is why Nicky and Jeannie, the drummer and his wife, are goth when nobody else is.
Yeah, clearly they're like references to Susie Sue and that sort of subculture. I thought they would be the ones to make a reference to more punky kind of stuff.
They're both dressed straight out of Hot Topic in the Halloween store.
Yep.
They're way over the top.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even function dressed? Like, how do you clean the house while wearing fingerless lace gloves? I don't know. I don't understand that. But
sometimes you just got to do it.
But they're interesting. And so Simon Dixon is introduced to us. He will be Cully's future husband.
So this is Roly-Poly Dixon's son.
Yes, who had been their manager before, had been Hired Gun's manager, but he's died, and this is his son coming in to take his place as being the band's manager. And when he introduces himself to Cully, he calls himself Dickhead.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you know, the joke is going to come about. It's almost like he expects her to go, oh, I guess you're just Dickhead. No,
so,
why would you assume that? Dixon?
What did you notice about that scene where Simon and Cully meet for the first time?
I think they resisted playing music and having everybody else freeze except the two of them, and putting the camera on a dolly that could just spin in a circle around the two of them while little, cartoon hearts raised up above their heads.
I could care less about the two of them.
Oh, you mean Cully's friends?
Cully's friends are fantastic.
Cully has two friends.
She has two friends. She has Hawaiian Punch T-shirt girl.
Yes.
And the other one.
Yes.
And Hawaiian Punch T-shirt girl only makes faces.
Yes.
They were totally like, we can't pay you to be anything but an extra.
Right.
So there's no speaking role for you.
Right.
But we want you to act with your face.
Yes.
Particularly your mouth.
Eyeliner is going to be really important too. Put on a lot of that.
Yes.
And when Simon says, I'm going to give you backstage passes, he means pass just for Cully.
Yes.
Because we never see the other two again.
Yeah.
And Cully's backstage pass apparently doesn't just get you into the parties. It means you get to stand on the stage and then gradually become an employee.
Yeah. Well, after the bonking on the boat.
Because that's what Cully does, is
boat
she
bonking.
becomes an employee.
Yep.
Yeah, and until this episode, rewatching this, I had never before thought about sex on a narrow boat. I can't imagine it's secret.
No.
I think people would know that's what's going on.
I think people would know.
One of the downsides of a narrow boat. I always thought they were super cool, and then I thought about that and went, oh.
Actually, it's my narrow boat.
Yeah. It's called Hired Gun. It was my dad's. So Willow is both Looney Tunes and not, depending on how she feels.
Yes, that's what she is. And they're all going to Gary's house to stay.
Yeah.
Because Gary's the local boy.
Right.
And as they go to Gary's house, they pass the Harcourts. The Harcourts are the most Midsomer thing that ever midsummered a midsummer. They are midsummer face.
Desmond Harcourt and Finola Harcourt used to be the landowners. They used to own the big house where Gary now lives. And all I have written down for Desmond is super grump.
Okay.
Because that's what he is. That's his job.
So Desmond Harcourt is played by Rupert Van de Start.
Yeah, who was also Selwyn Proctor in Market for Murder, where he was also super grump.
He's the same play in everything.
Yeah.
He's in Game of Thrones.
He's
Guess
super
what
grump.
he plays in Game of Thrones? Super grump. He's really good at it.
Yeah, he is.
If you see any interviews with him, he is also the most jolly person you may ever meet.
Of course he is.
Which
is why he can play the super grump and it doesn't ruin his day, you know?
But did you notice that Finola, which, wow, what a name to begin with, Harcourt, is played by Tilly Blackwood, who is also...
Trixie Channing.
In
Death in Disguise.
Yep. So...
Yeah, there are a lot of people in this episode who are in other Midsommers.
They basically said, we need a slut and a grump. Get those two because we know they're awesome and they'll show up and they'll do a great job.
Yeah. And maybe some Game of Thrones people. Well, we've already got one. Let's get another one. Bring James Cosmo in here. He's a big Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah.
He was also in Train Spotters, Braveheart, Highlander. I mean, James Cosmo's been in everything.
Yeah, James Cosmo is fantastic.
So Gary lives with a butler, Hobson, and a PA housekeeper, Stanton. I'm just going to call them by their last names.
Yeah.
Serena.
With their Romulan haircut.
They're just strange, and their relationship with him is really, really weird.
Yes. They're both caretakers and overlords, it seems.
And spies.
Yes.
They're very weird with each other and with him.
And James Hobson seems to be like really open to Barnaby. Like immediately tells Barnaby how he hates everything about his job.
Yeah. Well, he has to basically babysit a neurotic. What does he say? A spoiled adolescent or something like that?
Yep.
The self-indulgent adolescent. Hobson's played by David Horovitch. Did you recognize him?
Not off the top of my head.
He is Inspector Slack in all of the Miss Marples that star Joan Hickson.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's in like 8 or 10 of however many there are. He's in almost all of them and basically plays the same character but as a cop instead of as a butler. I mean, he's a good guy, I guess, but the whole music festival is just strange. If you pay any attention, not only is Keith in the tree, but there will be 1 minute's piece in the healing field. If you're interested in a minute's piece, the healing field is where you're going to find it. What?
And, okay.
Is there a band called 1 minute's piece?
I totally forgot about this.
Is it a moment of silence or what?
I totally forgot about this. Okay. Axeman is the murderer.
Yes.
Okay. He's at the big house. Mm-hmm. Right.
He's at Cooper's.
And he thinks, I'm going to kill all these people. Because it's premeditated. Because of what they did to Willow and her mother.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to kill them. Kill them. Okay. First thing I need is a clown suit. Oh, where does he get the clown suit?
We need to talk about the clown suit. Do you want to talk about it now or when we get there?
Sure.
Because why?
Why does he have the clown suit? Well, he has the clown suit because if he went there, he would be recognized.
No, that's not my question.
Okay.
Why in a universe that is good, is there not a photo of him, of James Cosmo, in that clown suit?
It's very close to getting it, but you never get a full...
When he's got the head off.
Yeah.
We see like his shoulders underneath the stage, but almost as much as I want to see him and Brian Blessed in a smart car, I want to see the photo of him in that clown suit without the head on.
So sometimes when I pick the pictures for the episode cards that I make, so the reminder card and then the cards that show up on YouTube and stuff like that. Sometimes I find pictures that are promo pictures for the episode. That are things that show up in the magazine and things.
Or production stills or something like that. Yeah.
I try to find those because those are different looks.
I looked for him in the clown suit.
I tried to find him in the clown suit too.
He would have been the biggest clown ever.
Where does he get the clown suit?
I don't know, but it's fantastic. It's one of those with the big hula hoop in the waist of it, so he's ginormous. Like,
does he bring it with him? How does he fit it on his trike? There's just so many questions with the clown suit.
It's awesome, though. I can tell you that.
Did Gary Cooper go, oh, yeah, I have a clown suit?
Yeah, why do you need it? Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Also, there are a lot of people backstage at any concert. Mm-hmm. And they would notice a clown.
Yeah, I would have thought it would have been more
Especially
effective.
a clown carrying a drill.
It would have been more effective to dress as a clown had there been other clowns around. Now, we do see that kind of across the way, there's a fun fair set up too.
Kinda.
And maybe there's clowns over there, but a clown going under the stage.
And all they needed to do was have him sneaking into a tent and taking a clown outfit off of a
hook or something. All they really needed to do was just have him put on a dark coat and a hat.
Yeah.
And nobody would have been able to see him.
Tie his hair back.
Yeah, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
We also get to meet Tom's old boss.
Yes.
DCI
Owen
Jenkins.
Owen Jenkins, who's always kind of grimace smiling.
He's grumpy because this band ruined his career.
Yes.
Right? Because when his name is Ginger Foxton, is that right?
Yes.
Because I always want to call him Foxy Ginger. When he died, people thought he went missing or whatever, and Jenkins was supposed to solve the case, and he could never solve the case. And so it kind of ruined his career because it was this high-profile thing.
I have another case that Owen Jackson should have been solving.
Owen Jenkins?
Yes.
What?
He's at the Cedars. That's where the music professor from Midsomer Rhapsody was.
Yeah. Maybe he should have been involved in that case.
Yeah, he's like, where was he when Arthur Leggett got smacked in the head?
I don't think he was there yet. Because Tom says, well, isn't it convenient you suddenly appearing at the same time as this music festival? That's not a coincidence.
So is he the guy in the white van?
Yeah.
How did they let him out of the Cedars to drive around the white van?
It's not a prison.
Does he park the white van at the Cedars?
It's an assisted living place. I don't know what he does with the van.
I don't know. Maybe the clown suit's in the back of the van.
You think him and Axeman are in on it together? Because they both hate the band secretly?
Yep.
You should never meet your heroes.
Okay.
When Tom and Jones are in the pub and the Axeman and Nikki are there, I just want to give Tom a hug.
It's rough. It is really rough. Because we know at this point that Axeman's kind of playing this role.
Right.
He doesn't need to do this.
He's not a drinker.
No.
He's completely sober. But I also do understand somebody who has been a celebrity for that long, you would kind of get irritated after a while of, I can't go anywhere without somebody wanting to talk to me. And maybe I just want to have a drink with my friend, right?
Yeah.
I understand that. But there are better ways of saying, thank you. I'm so glad that you liked our music. We're just hanging out if you don't mind.
Really. And it is it's a primer of how not to talk to rock and roll people. Don't say you're in a band. Yeah.
Tom is lame in this scene.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't help. But I just feel so bad for him.
It is difficult. And it's a thing. What I liked about it is we don't see Barnaby in that situation very often.
No, where he's not the man in charge of the room.
And then we show Tom's character because he just brushes it off. He's like,
I don't think he completely brushes it off. I think it does bother him, but he knows that he needs to move on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's who he is. That's who he is. Okay. You've been to a ton more concerts than I am, and you're much more into music than I am. Have you ever met a musician that you liked a lot and they were a jerk?
No, not somebody that I liked a lot. I've heard stories about people who I kind of tangentially like and stuff, but the sort of main people that I like the most have always been sweet, genuine, really nice people.
Appreciative people.
Yeah.
I don't think what Axeman does here is rare, though.
No, I don't think so either. And it depends on how you approach the person.
Oh, yeah, of course. So. And where you approach them, right? Yeah. If you run into them in the bathroom, leave them alone.
Yeah. There's no talking in the bathroom.
I love that when they get to the festival, the Axeman gets out and goes, 30 years and they still haven't washed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you've been to a music festival. Okay. Yeah. What do you think about Mimi's death? So she's up there singing the Dollhouse Blues, which make no sense to me whatsoever.
Okay, so that scene starts off. There are two things that bother me right away. Phil Davis comes out with the bass, and he is holding a bass like a bass player holds a bass, playing the note that is being played. But then there's a Phil, and he doesn't move his hands at all.
You can't hold that against them.
And I was like, oh, okay.
It may have been added after, and he didn't even know to hear it to move his hands.
Okay.
But Gary Cooper, the bassist, is supposed to be singing the opening number, and at the very last minute, he says, no, I can't do that. You'd never do that. Once you agree on a set list, you do it.
Yeah,
right?
That's a very rare thing. And it goes to when I get to the end that maybe Axeman's as crazy as his wife, because he's just like, oh, okay, whoever's singing, I'm going to kill.
That's true. Well, she's on his list too.
Yeah. But
so, all right. I'll kill her instead. That'll work.
Very quickly.
Okay.
A guitar pedal works this way.
I knew as soon as I realized that this was the episode that was coming next that we were going to hear about how you can't electrify somebody with a wah-wah pedal that isn't even a wah-wah pedal. But do go on.
Okay.
Educate us.
Quickly. The natural state of a guitar pedal is bypass. It passes current through it without any interruption or any noise or anything.
That's when it's off?
That's when it's off. It's so that you don't create hum or buzz or anything like that.
Right.
They're meant to be passive, right? Then you step on the pedal.
Which closes the circuit and turns it on.
Some people, I understand that people who aren't used to guitarists or performing guitarists, I've shown this to lots of people. When I show them the pedals that I have, they're like, oh my gosh, so that's how it works, right? Most people don't know guitar players play a bunch of pedals in front of them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's common to have lots of pedals. Now, he probably would have more pedals. And I'm not going to go into the guitars and amps.
Okay.
Not going to go into that. But when he clicks on that pedal, all it does is activate the electronics inside the pedal, not send out a signal that electrocutes somebody. Like it would be impossible to wire it up like that without rewiring the whole pedal.
Like it already has power going through it, and all he does by pushing the button is reroute that power into making a sound
in the pedal.
But it's already there.
Yeah, it's already there.
It's not like turning it on.
Second of all, going to be nice here. If you put enough juice through a pedal that it kills somebody, that pedal will melt.
Yeah, I would think so.
Like just holding that much in it. Finally, a wah-wah pedal is normally a volume type pedal that has, it's like a pedal on a
car
sewing machine or a car, right?
It's not on and off. It's like fast, slow.
Fast, slow, fast, slow. There are wah-wah pedals that are just on or off, but that's not one of them. The pedal casing, the housing that is shown is actually a pedal that does stuff that's like chorus and voicing. So it's not even a wah-wah pedal. Doesn't look like any wah-wah pedal.
Does a wah-wah pedal actually make the guitar go wah, 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 wah?
That's what it actually does.
Oh, okay.
That sort of 70s detective sound,
yeah,
that's a wah-wah pedal.
So in reality, what he should have had is like a power strip with an on-off button.
Yes.
And he flipped the switch to turn the power on to it,
which would have melted that also.
Well, yeah. But that would have actually started electricity passing through it into the mic stand.
Having wired equipment incorrectly, both microphones and guitars, there's no way any sort of juice that could harm you in any way.
Well, that's no fun, Mark.
I'm sorry.
So you're just going to have to suspend disbelief long enough to believe that Mimi got the crap fried out of her.
Her brain turned into soup. What does he say about her muscle contractions? Oh.
Well, and her filter and carburetor are fried. Her liver and kidneys. George was like, last episode, I didn't get to say anything funny or clever. So now I'm going to make Mimi into a car.
Titanic
Take that.
muscle contractions.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you get electrocuted.
Yeah.
Right? Everything tightens. If you find somebody who's been electrocuted and they're dead due to it, their fingers will be all gnarled up and tight, and their arms and legs will be all tense and like pulled to them.
It started in that scene, but it continues in the next scene. What is on Jones's t-shirt?
I don't know. I could never make it out.
It's a weird piece of art.
All I know is that Mimi has all these little colored extensions clipped into her hair.
Yep.
And every time I saw her before she fried, knowing that she was going to fry, I was just really hoping that maybe smoke would come out of her hair.
If she got that much current passed through her, her hair would have gone on fire.
Which would have been epic. Tell me that would not have been epic.
That would have been epic.
She's like going, and then head flame. Jeannie tells her to change into her new frock, which apparently is a shirt and pants.
Yes.
I got lots of frocks then, don't I?
Yep.
I got lots of t-shirt and jeans. If that's a frock. Though I am impressed with Tom's flashlight trick. He immediately thinks, I'm going to shine a flashlight through the hole. We can find it under the stage. I thought that was clever.
It would have been more clever if he said, that's not how guitar pedals work. But anyway.
But you know what? Axeman was an electrician.
He was.
So maybe it's a modified pedal.
It could in fact
Maybe
be.
he did it in advance so that it would be super powered.
Which again leads to the problem I have with Axeman.
And resistant to a lot of electricity.
Yes.
He knew he was going there. He knew he was going to see them. There's nothing to say he couldn't have taken the time to doctor up a pedal to fry somebody, whoever.
After we leave a crime scene, let's take a walk down the towpath.
Why not?
And I'll show you my daddy's boat.
What I want to know is who gives Willow a box knife?
Why does she have a box
Of
knife?
all the people who should not have a box knife, she should not have a box knife. Making her little straw dolls. Oh, she's just so wacky. And how does she wear white all the time and never, ever get dirty?
Because she doesn't eat.
She never gets dirty.
Notice that
she's
she
like
never
dancing
eats.
in the grass and everything else, that not a spot on her.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have this weird Harcourt family subplot.
Yes.
That is just creepy. So the idea is that they sold the house to Gary.
Yes.
And that they're going to get turfed out.
And in exchange for a good price, they agreed that Finola would give him lessons on how to be fancy.
Because Finola is a fancy lady.
Yes. You assume it's her family home that they've sold.
Yes.
And that he would let them live in the cottage for free.
I love when he goes, you should let the gardeners do that. And she's like, we don't have gardeners anymore.
He's like, oh, right. She's got to string up her own hollyhocks.
Yes. But she has known Gary since she was very young.
Right.
And has been, let's say, a fan.
I don't think she is.
I think she's a fan of the Rumpy Pumpy. And
I
she
think
doesn't
she's
really
a fan
care.
of being lady of the manor, and she'll do whatever she has to be in that position.
Yes.
Including manipulating Gary.
Yeah.
So that she can get rid of Desmond, who is a super grump.
Yeah.
And be with Gary and be back in her house.
Yes. I agree.
And
coming on to Tom.
Yeah. And while Desmond is a super grump and kind of an asshole, I can kind of see why.
Well, yeah. She's like, oh, just go ahead and say that I was bonking.
It's okay if he's in the room while I tell you I was cheating on him. That's all right.
I'm going to go on Game of Thrones.
But I do like the scene where Axeman and Tom finally get to play. Tom is clearly very happy.
Yep. So this is another case.
And John Nettles does play guitar,
John
at
Nettles
least a little
plays
bit.
guitar.
We've talked about it. That's why his fingernails look a little bit long, because that's helpful when you play.
And they almost finger the notes that are being played here.
Yeah.
They're in the right area on the key.
It makes up for the pub scene.
Yes. Yeah. They have a nice little moment here.
And then the Hardings are the arguing goths in the garden.
Yes.
Like vampires on chaise lounge. Can you be outside this long? Do you guys trade silver chains? Because he was wearing that one yesterday, and now you're wearing it. That Hot Topic jacket sure is cool. I'm a vampire drummer. I love they tease him that he's not Ringo.
Yes. Well, and did you notice the other Beatles reference?
Oh, Merseyside covers.
Yeah, Merseyside covers.
Axeman says, what did you guys play?
Yeah.
No, we didn't play Merseyside covers.
No. It's not how it works. So Cully has met this guy the day before, and now she's sleeping with him.
So?
And that's his alibi. I love his Jones's reaction.
Oh, great. I'm leaving the country.
Yep.
And Tom takes Simon off to have a talk to him, and we don't get to hear it.
We do not get to hear what Tom says to Simon.
You know that's your future son-in-law, right?
Yeah.
Just saying, we know, you don't know. When you want to talk about Simon?
Sure, let's talk about Simon.
So what are your first impressions of him? You know that we're going to see him in 3 more episodes, including the marriage to Cully. But this is our first introduction to him. So what do you think of Simon at first impression?
Okay. A couple of things I like about Simon right away is he actually does things. Mm-hmm. As opposed to Nico, who's like... Oh,
Nico was a dreamer.
Yeah. He gets things done. He's a get things done guy. Mm-hmm. And I think that works well with Cully. Mm-hmm. I think they have a good chemistry and they're sweet together.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I was a little put off when she meets him at the pub and sits down and they're immediately holding hands.
Yeah.
Like, didn't you guys just meet like yesterday?
Yeah.
And you already know enough about the possibilities between you that you would just sit down and hold hands?
And he's honest with her about his frustrations right away. I like that.
Yeah.
And I like that he said, I'm not going to take care of you guys. I have a date.
Yeah.
Like,
is there anything about him you didn't like?
He kind of runs her over.
How so?
When he hits her at the beginning.
Oh, but that's an accident.
Yeah.
He backs up into her and steps on her foot.
He's okay. There was something weird about him. Like he's in the scene where they're rehearsing and Gary gives the worst lyrics of all time. Mm-hmm. Axeman, you're right. You could kill him for those lyrics.
Yeah, it's a bad song.
He kind of is bossy there, but
he has to be. Yeah. They're acting like little kids.
Yep, you kind of have to be.
I like that he sticks up for his dad.
Yeah, he does.
Just don't talk bad about my dad.
Yep.
The only thing I think maybe that I don't immediately like about him is that he doesn't do anything to ingratiate himself with Tom when he realizes who Tom is.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't like introduce himself and shake his hand.
No.
Or anything like that. But he also doesn't really get a chance to.
No.
He does need a shave.
Okay.
Which just makes you think about the weird Hobson shaving thing. Why is she going to shave him with a straight razor?
You don't lie on your uncle's bed like that. I'm sorry.
And you don't give him a shave.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It's very weird.
All right, so we like Simon. He's in Peaky Blinders. Did you know that?
No, what part is he in Peaky Blinders?
Sam Hazeldine is his name. I think he's in one of the more recent seasons that maybe we haven't seen yet.
Oh, okay. If you haven't watched Peaky Blinders, you should. It's excellent.
Finola says, how do you address, I have to teach Gary like things like how you address a duchess during sex.
Yes.
Do you know how you address a duchess?
During sex?
No, just in general.
No.
It's Your Royal Highness.
Oh.
She is not a duchess.
No, she's not.
So why she thinks she can teach him that?
I don't know.
But she says that Stanton is a jumped up slapper.
Yes. He jumped up slapper.
And then Tom says about all these people pointing fingers at other people and blah, blah, blah. He says, this is just a big spaghetti junction.
Wait, before that, we have the explosion.
The bike?
Yes.
That was impressive. I thought the car in the Chinese woods last episode was a good explosion. This is a good explosion.
Okay. But all those people would be dead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They have shrapnel in their faces.
Explodes.
No doubt.
10 feet away from you, you have gas compartment in your face.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if it had just burst into flames, that'd be one thing, but it explodes, which I don't think would actually happen.
No. But James Como gets really mad.
Cosmo, yeah. He does, but he's faking it because he's the one who did that to his own motorcycle.
Yes, he is. So Spaghetti
He has suckled that motorcycle since it was young.
It's exactly the sound I made when he said that.
So do you know what a spaghetti junction is?
I always thought it was those sort of figure eight spaghetti junctions where there's all the roads all lead into one.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated intersection.
Yeah.
It originally was used as a term to refer to this place in the UK called the Worsley Braided Interchange. Oof. That still holds the Guinness record for the most side-by-side lanes. At one point, there are 17
Oh, I'll put a picture of that baby in the show notes.
Oh, but it was then surpassed
okay.
by another intersection that is now referred to as Spaghetti Junction, which is the Gravely Hill Interchange.
Okay, I will put Gravely Hill in the
It's in Birmingham. It has 5 levels of roadways, over 2 railway lines, 3 canals, and 2 rivers.
Wow. That's a lot.
It's a flaming mess.
That's crazy.
While I was learning about that, I learned about something amazing. Okay. Now, this is a little side road. Okay. Sorry, pun not intended. But if you want to talk about crazy intersections in the UK.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a magic roundabout?
So
it's a real thing, by the way.
Okay. Is the magic roundabout the one that has the roundabout in the center that goes the other way?
Sort of.
Okay.
It's a mama roundabout.
Yes, that has baby roundabouts.
That has baby roundabouts at each incoming road. And the mama roundabout has 2 lanes, one going each direction. So you can go around the middle counterclockwise and clockwise.
So the first time
it's like the road version of a giant do-si-do.
Yes.
I watched footage of cars going around a magic roundabout, and I don't understand how they got to where they are. It looks like everybody is about to crash into everybody else.
Oh, and my favorite is they all signal. And, and like you're supposed to know how that works.
Yeah. There's also magic gyratories.
What the hell is a magic gyratory?
It's a magic roundabout where the baby roundabouts are on little extensions of the roundabout.
Oh, what's funny is we have literally a roundabout within...
Now, it's it's not a magic one. It's very simple.
200 yards from our house.
And very small.
Yeah, it's a very small
But I can only imagine that if there was a magic roundabout here... At least once a day, somebody would just go, f it, and just go right through it.
There's video of something like that.
I don't know. I'm just going to put the pedal down and go and hope that I survive. You'll have to beat me there. I'm sorry.
The roundabout near our house, I easily see somebody using it wrong at least once a week.
Yeah, I can only imagine the first time you drove in the UK, not only did you encounter a roundabout, but you had to drive on the opposite side of the road, which really makes them confusing.
Woo! It was a fun trip.
Yeah. I'm sorry for that side road, but once I found out about magic roundabouts, I just had to share it because it was just fantastic. So Jenkins, you've mentioned he's at the Cedars, right?
Yes.
And he says, he has this great line. He says, all I think about now are cricket and death. One prepares you for the other.
Yes.
That's not a very British thing to say, is it?
No.
When Finola comes and stays the night with Gary.
Yes.
This is the same night that Nikki is killed.
Yes.
While they're lying in bed, after she has told him he's a good boy and he did a good job at the sex.
Yes.
She insinuates that she would like to be lady of the manor.
Yeah.
And then immediately Stanton comes to Hobson and says, now that bitch thinks she's going to marry him.
Yeah.
Which means she's been like listening.
At the very least. Spying visually at the worst.
Like watching on a monitor at the worst.
Yeah.
But she's definitely had her ear pressed to something and listening.
Yeah.
That's not a loud conversation they're having.
Yeah.
And she hears it.
Yeah.
And that is so creepy.
What I don't understand is they don't hear the crane outside.
Because you think that's the only way Nikki's caddy ends up in the pool.
Okay. So let's go through this night. Okay?
Yes.
The death of Nikki night. Okay. Nikki and Axeman are at the bar. Mm-hmm. Axeman's not drinking. He's clearly throwing his booze away. I wish Simon had noticed that.
Yeah.
Because that would be a good clue that he could give to Tom.
He actually
later.
wasn't drunk at all.
Yeah. Takes Nikki back. He brings up that
Jeannie won't appreciate him coming in drunk, so he tucks him into the car.
Now,
Nikki's the one who says, I'll just sleep in the caddy.
Yeah.
But if he hadn't, Axeman probably would have said, why don't you just sleep in the caddy?
Yeah. Okay. The very next scene we see, Axeman is going upstairs and he meets with Jeannie.
And they go into his room together. And
Then,
she's there later in the night when Willow comes in to sleep in the same bed with her dad. I don't even want to talk about that. So it's not as if Jeannie came in for a few minutes and then left. She's there for a while.
And doesn't take off her gothy clothes. Like, I don't want to prescribe how people do it, but usually you got to take some clothes off.
Well, I don't think he actually wanted to have sex with her anyway. He just wanted an alibi.
Okay. In the flashback at the end of the episode, it is implied that either two things happen. Either the Axeman has already killed Nikki, or he leaves the bed to go kill Nikki.
Right. And I think if James Cosmo got out of your bed, you'd know.
I would think so.
Like, you might get flipped onto the floor like you'd been on a trampoline when somebody that big gets out of the bed.
So now you don't need an alibi if it's after the fact.
Right.
Okay. But here's the biggest problem. There is a road that runs along the side of the pool.
Mm-hmm. It runs parallel to the longest side of the pool.
Yes.
And the ends of the pool are rounded.
Yes. And there are hedges.
Yes.
At the ends of the pool.
What you're trying to say is that there's no clear way to directly straight line roll the caddy into the pool.
No.
Like you'd have to push it in from the side.
Unless the
sideways.
Yes.
And he's not that big.
Now, Cosmo is a big guy, but I don't think he can pick up a car.
No, I don't think so either.
So then I'm thinking, well, how did they get that car in there in the first place? And then I'm going through the filming of this going, they put the car in the water with the crane, and then they moved the crane, shot the scenes, and then brought the crane back and took the car out of the water.
They wouldn't even have to move the crane because the only time we actually see the car in it is from Jeannie's window looking down. The crane could be there next to it and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
He also moves Nikki to the front seat.
Yes.
So it looks like he was driving. So we're supposed to believe that Nikki, super drunk, was able to thread that needle with that car and get it into the pool.
An impossible needle.
Yeah. Not just tricky driving, impossible driving.
Yes.
Maybe he levitated it. He is kind of gothy. Maybe he's got powers.
Well, Gary's a wee Muppet. I love how Muppet is thrown around in this episode.
I love when Axeman goes, rug, fibers, duh.
Well, okay. When he goes, rug, fibers, duh, I'm like, there's that damn pinball machine again.
I know. You're such a junkie for pinball machines.
Jeannie says no and then is like instantaneously.
Yeah. And the next day, suddenly, Cully has yet another job. She's gone from being an actor to a travel agent to an actor to a travel agent, and now she's a roadie.
Yep.
I mean, more power to Simon that he's got free employees now. That's pretty cool. I'm sure they're on a tight budget.
You know.
He gave her a t-shirt and a lanyard, and now she works there.
Yep.
She's got a clipboard all of a sudden.
She does. She's taken down names.
When Tom and Jones go to talk to Finola about being with Gary, not only does she insist that Desmond stays in the room while she says, I was next door having sex with Gary last night.
Yes.
But she also does that weird his father and my mother had an affair, so for all I know, he could be my brother. She's just gross. Why is she so gross?
Why is that line even there? It doesn't need to be there, and it only makes you go, oh, it's gross.
Why does she have to be so nasty?
Again, I am not against sex-positive people, but she is using sex as a weapon.
And not in a... I mean, I guess there's not a good way to do that.
Not in a fun...
But in a gross way.
Yeah.
Ugh. Then poor Jenkins confronts Hobson. He's like, ha! I know who you are.
And again, I'm like, what is that pinball machine? I literally watched all the scenes with the pinball machine at least 3 times until I finally got to see what the pinball machine was.
And what is it?
It is the Silver Ball Mania, which was made in February 1980 by Bally.
Are you happy?
No, it's not a very good pinball machine.
Well, it's not going to survive the Axeman playing it.
No, definitely not.
I thought he was going to pick it up and slam it down like the Hulk.
I was like,
Axeman want point.
One shot of the back glass, please.
When Jenkins rips off Hobson's wig, I thought he's going to have flaming ginger hair under there.
No.
And it's just brown.
It's just brown.
It's not... I mean, it would have been obnoxious if he had like bozo orange hair, and we would have noticed it in the scene where his niece is about to shave him, which is weird.
Yeah.
But he should have, right?
I guess.
He's Ginger's brother. He should have been Ginger.
Should have. Tom has a phone in his car.
Yeah.
That's the first time we see a phone in a car.
Okay. They've got cell phones and stuff, though.
They do.
Cops usually do have some kind of phone in their car, even back in the old days.
No, but it's built into the car.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's got an actual, like, display in the car.
Not like Cully's ancient cell phone. You have received a text message.
Would you like to see it? Press this button 6 times. Subtitles are often entertaining. If you don't watch TV with subtitles on, you're missing so much.
Yep.
In the reenactment of that night of Nikki's death, when Willow comes to the Axeman's room and finds Jeannie in his bed.
Okay. Which is problematic.
When she says, Daddy, can I climb in bed with you?
Yes.
The subtitles say Cully Barnaby in front of that line.
Oh.
So it's like Cully is saying, Daddy, can I get in bed with you?
Just when you thought it couldn't get more gross.
Double gross! Thanks, subtitles, for that double gross. And then, so they go to the home where Ingrid is, right?
Yep.
Ingrid, who's not just brain damaged, she's psychic.
What is the implication here? That she knows that Gary Cooper's in trouble with these dead bodies.
She can tell when something's bad is happening. There's a skinned animal somewhere. Hark, I must go to the window and look troubled. Or is it whenever Willow is upset, she gets upset? Because Willow gets upset about the rabbit.
But Willow doesn't know about the deer in the creek at the beginning.
The pig in the creek?
Yeah.
No. That's a waste of a pig, too.
My dad never took me fishing.
Ingrid, so we're supposed to believe that Ingrid is the way that she is because Gary dated her and dumped her and broke her heart, which made her try drugs, which Mimi and Nikki got her into progressively stronger drugs that did some kind of damage that didn't manifest itself until after she and the Axeman were together and had a baby.
Yeah.
But those same drugs also damaged Willow in utero.
Yeah, the men who wrote this episode don't really understand how pregnancy works.
Well, you can't damage a baby by having stopped drugs already, right?
Yeah.
So that means that when she was with Axeman, she was still doing the drugs.
Yes.
And maybe he helped her get off of them, but not soon enough.
Maybe.
That she wasn't doing them while she was pregnant.
The whole thing is weird. And the end motive is that Axeman's insane and ready to kill anybody.
He's ready to kill those 3.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care what order.
No.
But they need to pay for ruining the 2 most important people in his life.
And he doesn't really, like, if he was in cahoots with Hobson and the niece, I would get him going after Gary, but he doesn't actually go after Gary.
So Hobson and the niece are the ones putting the dead animals around.
Yes.
Right? Because they want to freak him out. So the first thing that Axeman actually does is
kill Mimi.
Wire up the mic, which should have killed Gary.
Yeah.
But killed Mimi instead, who was also on his list.
Yeah.
So he would have just found another way.
Yeah. But we never see any progress on that.
He doesn't get a chance.
Yeah.
Every time Tom goes to see Ingrid, we see him getting on the interstate.
Yeah.
He takes the highway ramp. So we're supposed to believe...
It's not really interstates.
Right. He gets on the highway.
Yes.
So wherever Ingrid is, it's not local.
Yeah.
It's not too far away, but it's not local.
Well, 15 minutes. Let's pack a lunch.
It must be far enough away that the Axeman can go see Ingrid, but not be in Midsomer.
Yes.
Right? Because he hasn't been back there.
Yeah.
But when Tom and Jones are hiding there at the end to confront him,
yes,
and they arrest him, they put him in the car and leave Willow there.
Yeah. Well, there are some problems with the ending with Willow.
They just drive off and leave her at the home.
Yeah.
Now, you have to respect Axeman for taking care of his daughter. He does look after her.
He does.
And she's got challenges, and he takes care of her.
He does. He shelters her from those challenges.
Mm-hmm. But then just leaves her at the home with her mom, who's completely unresponsive.
Let's hide behind these screens. There's the worst. The absolute worst.
These conveniently placed promotional screens.
Yeah, like...
If the Axeman had actually walked closer, he could have just looked over him and went, I see you.
Exactly.
I found you. You're it now.
The hiding behind screens bothers me to no end.
Oh, well. Are you ready for some horrible movies?
Sure.
I got 2 for you this week.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Let's finish this off.
Okay.
Axeman does the best acting of the entire episode at the end.
Oh my gosh, when he's crying, it breaks my heart.
It's absolutely...
I know he's a killer and everything, but James Cosmo can't cry.
And he's like, come on, Barnaby, you know what this is like. Barnaby's like, no.
No, I don't.
I'm Batman.
I'm not like that.
It's justice. And then they leave. Willow.
I'm not going to be Penguin to your Batman.
Shall we go? And that's it.
The end.
Willow's like, bye.
I have a dolly, I guess. Okay, see ya.
Bye. Okay, bad movies.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. The first one has James Cosmo in it.
Okay.
That's why we're talking about it. It's a 1972 movie.
I'm liking this already.
It's got a twist, okay? So the waters surrounding an island become contaminated by chemical dumping, and people who eat fish caught in those waters become deformed and violent.
Oh, I know this movie.
But what it's really about is the fact that the people on this island are all deformed and ill. And when an environmentalist comes to find out what's going on, they think they're like that because of inbreeding. And so they try to hide it. But really, they're like that because of the chemicals in the water.
What is this movie?
You give up?
Yep.
Doomwatch.
Doomwatch. Oh, I need to see this like today.
Yeah, you need to see it.
I need to.
That's one for me. La la la.
Is Brett Eklund in that movie? Because it sounds like...
I don't think so.
It's Wicker Man time frame.
The other one's even better.
Okay.
1971.
Okay.
And Philip Maddock is in it. He's the one who plays Jenkins in this episode of Midsomer.
Okay.
And I'm not even going to read the synopsis to you. What I'm going to do is read the movie poster.
Okay.
Okay? This film is filled with shock. Victim after victim dies horribly in throat-cutting orgy. After shock, unnatural laboratory experiments performed behind barred doors. After shock, once again, he will change sexes and kill, kill, kill. Warning, the sexual transformation of a man into a woman will actually take place before your eyes.
Now,
Parents, be sure your children are sufficiently mature to witness the intimate details of this frank and revealing film.
So is this the movie that we got mixed up before, where this is Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde, the British version, not the American version from the 80s?
This is Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde.
Sister Hyde, yes. I've seen this many, many times.
Do you actually see like bits change into other bits?
He's naked and then he's got boobs.
Because the only thing I could find was that they put him in front of what looks like a mirror, but it's actually not a mirror.
Yeah.
It's a hole in a wall. with an identical room on the other side, and there's a woman on the other side.
I remember explaining this scene to a friend of mine.
Yeah. Except apparently they get out of the chairs at different paces, so it doesn't quite work.
Doesn't quite work, but yeah.
But I love that poster.
That poster is awesome.
Once again, he will change sexes and kill, kill, kill.
I should own that poster. Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde.
I'll give you that one. Yep. I got 1 point. You got 1 point.
Yep.
All right. Best corpse? Nice corpse. Our choices for best corpse are Mimi, Nikki, and maybe Ginger. We do see him dead.
Maybe. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, as discussed before the episode, and we should discuss it now. Okay, so I'm Hobson, who is Ginger's brother. Mm-hmm. And he's driving erratically in the countryside.
Yeah.
And
Ginger's psychotic. He's going to go over the cliff.
I jump out of the car at the last minute.
Yes.
So he was ready to kill me, too.
Yes.
Okay, so
Ginger goes down and
in a
dies.
fiery crash.
It doesn't burn, but yeah.
Okay. Now, I have no car.
Right. You're Hobson, and now you're on foot, and you're hauling your dead brother around.
And I have to get to a car and drive 100 miles away and bury him.
Or carry him that far.
How does that happen?
Does he say 100 miles, or does he say
100
10 miles?
He says 100 miles.
Yeah. So, I know. Maybe he wrapped him in trash bags and said that he was clothes and books.
Maybe.
And got somebody else to move him.
Like last episode.
Yes.
Okay.
And then after moving him 100 miles, he digs a hole barely deep enough to cover his shoes.
And they've never found his body since.
Nope. Bum, bum, bum. The mystery of Ginger Foxton.
Best corpse, Nikki.
Why?
Because really it's the only one that we see for any length of time.
I'm going to say Nikki because he doesn't fall out of the car.
Yep. Now, I did notice something about Mimi's. So they do a really interesting shot with Mimi. Mm-hmm. So they shoot from behind her head she's on the slab.
Yep.
And they shoot from the floor up to Tom and
standing over her head. Yeah.
And George standing over her head. Her hair does not move.
Why would it?
If you were an actress and you moved even a centimeter, your hair would move.
Now, if I was Susie Quattro and I knew they were filming that way, I would have been like making all kinds of faces at them.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's not her. I'm sure it's not. I don't even think it's
somebody wearing the wig, a thing wearing the wig.
It's a head wearing the wig.
Well, her filter and carburetor are over on the side table.
Yes. You really don't like the woman car analogy.
I understand why they opened the car doors to let the water drain out faster. I don't understand why they didn't take Nikki out of the car first, because he could easily fall right out into the pool.
Yep.
It's not like he has his seatbelt on.
No, he does a good job there. That's why I picked Nikki.
All right. After the credits.
Simon has a girlfriend.
On and off.
Okay.
Right? We see him, we don't see him.
Yep.
We refer to him, we don't refer to him. We'll see.
Gary has a girlfriend.
You think Gary and Finola are going to stick together?
I think Finola's on that like glue.
Yeah. Well, somebody's going to have to take care of him because Hobson and Stanton are going to be gone.
Yeah.
He's not going to let them stick around.
Willow and Jeannie are screwed.
I think Willow's going to live where Ingrid lives now.
That is the best she can hope for.
Her clothes match.
Yes.
It's a white place and she wears white.
Yes.
Jeannie's broke. Her only way of making money was with that car, and the car is gone, and so is her husband. So that's sad.
Yeah, Jeannie is screwed.
Yeah. Rupert is also kind of screwed. Because if Finola gets with Gary, they're certainly not going to let him stay in the cottage.
No.
Desmond, sorry.
He needs to be looking for a place in the city.
Yeah, and a job.
Yeah.
Because doesn't she say he doesn't like to work or something like that?
He doesn't like to work.
Ingrid stays in the home.
James and Serena are a bit screwed. Do you think they go to jail?
No.
The most they can get is mischief.
Yeah, and I don't think Gary's going to want to mess with that. I think he's just going to want him gone.
I think James should write a book, because I bet you that book would sell.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So
he's Ginger's brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly where Ginger is. And
you think, would he get in trouble for having buried him and hidden his death all that time?
It would be way past the statute of limitations.
Since he didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And Jenkins just gets to go back to the Cedars and be sad.
Yes.
Because he got it wrong. He was so sure that Hobson was Ginger.
Yeah. And he got it wrong.
That's.
But he also knows what happened now.
Yeah. So. The mystery is solved.
Yeah.
And if he's a good person, he thinks, I'm glad the person who solved it is somebody who I trained.
Yeah.
I did a good job. Tom's good.
Yes.
I
would agree.
My work here is done. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so. Midsomer Maniacs on Twitter, Instagram, email, all that good stuff.
The Midsomer Murders subreddit.
The Facebook groups for Midsomer and Acorn.
Send us your t-shirt ideas.
Yep. Next episode is season 10, episode 5, which is Death and Dust.
Rug, fibers, duh.
Death and Dust is with the Ramblers.
Try to maintain the gap between generations. That's all I can ask.
And make sure you know the difference between your arse and your elbow.
And their approximate location to each other.
Yes.
All right. Until next time. Bye, Maniacs.
Bye, Maniacs. No, they mentioned us.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Now it got awkward and weird, and you're going to have to edit.
Yeah, I'll have to edit that out.